$95 billion over budget, 10 years over schedule, 15% under construction. This is California's nightmare train from hell. The California High-Speed Rail, or CHSR, is being built to connect the major cities of San Francisco and Los Angeles. If completed, the 6-hour drive between the cities will be slashed to just under 3 hours by this high-speed train. But that's a big if, especially considering that it's almost $100 billion over budget and an entire decade from expected completion. This Californian dream has skyrocketed so far out of reach that the governor scrapped original plans to connect the Golden Gate to the City of Angels, instead scaling the project down to a little segment that's being called the Train to Nowhere. With that, the amount of scrutiny surrounding this mega project is unrivaled. What is taking so long? Why all the changes? And will it ever be completed? It all began in 1996, when the CHSR Authority was established to create and present project plans of a high-speed rail system to voters. 12 years later, in the depths of the 2008 recession, California voters were sold on a golden dream. A bullet train that would whisk them between San Francisco and Los Angeles in just under 3 hours. That year, voters passed Prop 1A, approving $9.95 billion in state bonds with the understanding that the train line would be in service by 2020. The project was the promising start of high-speed rail revolution for America. High-speed trains are quickly expanding across the world, with China, Japan, and Europe leading the way. But not in the United States. The global high-speed train revolution was kick-started with Japan's Shinkansen bullet trains in 1964 and gained momentum with France's TGV in early 1980s. But today, in 2023, Americans are still almost entirely reliant on highways or planes. The CHSR was going to change all that. Today, many make the grueling 6-hour drive or endure the hassle of air travel that is expensive and horrible for the environment. With CHSR operating at a top speed of about 220 miles per hour, passengers could travel in a faster, cheaper, and safer manner. The rail system would also greatly reduce pollution and carbon emissions while alleviating some of the vehicular traffic and air travel congestion. Californians also embrace the connection of 2 major business hubs for the promise of economic opportunities and improved accessibility of rural communities. If completed, the high-speed rail system will run on over 800 miles of rail with up to 24 stations across different geographical areas of California. The project is divided into 2 phases. Phase 1 is around a 500-mile stretch from San Francisco to Los Angeles. Phase 2 will further extend the system north to Sacramento and south to San Diego, thus completing the total 800 miles. But these plans have deviated far from the original blueprint. In 2019, California Governor Gavin Newsom pulled the plug on the San Francisco to Los Angeles rail line, instead shifting focus to complete just a 171-mile segment, which has 119 miles already under construction.
Let's be real. The current project, as planned, would cost too much and respectfully take too long.
This scaled-down plan is focused on the Merced to Bakersfield corridor and was expected to be ready by 2030 with a $22.8 billion price tag. But project officials now target completion in 2033 at a $35 billion cost. Despite these challenges, the developers are taking things in stride, focusing on small wins. 422 out of 500 miles in Phase 1 have received environmental clearance, with the remaining to be cleared by 2025. Though there is no confirmation on whether the 300 miles extension in Phase 2 will be environmentally cleared anytime soon, if at all. With only 119 miles being actively worked on, this takes us to only 15% or 24% of total construction progress, depending on how you slice it. So, what went wrong? Simply put, no money, no train. Since the beginning, the project has never had the full funding needed to complete the San Francisco to Los Angeles leg, let alone the extensions in Phase 2. $9 billion was secured by developers and the remaining to come from federal government, public-private partnerships, and local governments. But to date, only 1/3 of the necessary funds have been secured. With an underfunded megaproject propped up by unstable financing and a dire need of legislative oversight, it is no surprise costs and schedules continue to shift dramatically. The project was estimated to cost $33 billion when voters approved it in 2008. But now, 15 years later, the price has skyrocketed to $128 billion. The authority blames high inflation, supply chain interruption, and community and environmental requests. It also faces engineering and cost challenges for the 38 miles of mountain tunnels planned. Ridership and revenue forecasts are also trending lower than previously projected as population and employment growth have flattened. Without an ongoing revenue source and crucial funding support from the federal government, the CHSR is doomed to fail. The authority has already submitted 3 grant applications pending federal decisions and plans to submit multiple federal grant applications over the 5-year bipartisan infrastructure law program with a total award target of about $8 billion. But there is no guarantee CHSR gets to touch this pot of gold, and other rail systems in California may be vying for a share of that money too. With this project's viability called into question, many California residents are quick to criticize the authority's embattled push to continue construction, and their concerns are well-founded. When voters approved the project in 2008, they were expecting to use the San Francisco to Los Angeles connection. Instead, the plans have now downsized to a small Merced-Bakersfield segment nicknamed the Train to Nowhere. This disappointment, coupled with the city's 90,000 and 400,000 respective populations, has led to a low confidence of passenger use. The project may have also fallen victim to the sunk cost fallacy. So much, yet so little work has been accomplished. The dual tragedy is that given the lack of federal support, shutting down this project seems like the right call. And yet, the idea of a high-speed rail system that connects the major metropolises is easily justified. The biggest criticism of all, however, is the lack of funding. Developers have been continuously challenged by unstable funding, especially as funding streams change with election cycles. With the project spanning multiple decades, developers are at the mercy of the ever-changing political and legal landscape. Not to be lost in these obstacles are all the good this project has brought. Over 10,000 construction jobs have been created in the Central Valley, highlighting the project's significant impact on an economically disadvantaged region of California. The 171-mile Merced to Fresno to Bakersfield line also connects the 3 largest cities in the Central Valley, increasing mobility in the sprawling area. Beyond the convenience and efficiency of CHSR, it is also the greener mode of travel. It is expected to run on electricity supplied entirely from renewable sources, which will reduce vehicle emissions and travel congestion. Most significantly, it is rather ridiculous to stop and think out loud. How is it that such an economically robust, urbanized nation of over 334 million has yet to embrace the high-speed rail revolution? It's a position that's becoming harder to justify, though there is promising progress here as advancements of other rail systems pick up the momentum. It's been a wild roller coaster ride for California, but the journey is far from over. Given all the time, labor, and funds already sunk into the project, it would be a huge waste not to see the smaller segment, at the very least, through to completion. With that, all eyes are on this mega project. The successful construction and public adoption of the California high-speed rail will pave the way for other rail systems to flourish. And it will be an extraordinary feat for modern transportation in the great US of A, if it ever gets completed, that is. So, what do you think? When will this project be completed? Or will it be shut down soon? And will the entire 800 miles be constructed? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.